not getting involved can open new possibilities. Other choices aren't timed. These options only determine whether Keiki, hopefully not butcher that, has any special affection for another character or not. If you survive until the second night, the story will branch into one of 5 different plot lines based on your earlier decisions. The other characters cannot manage all situations in the various plot lines. Regardless of what you do, if any character isn't making it, try getting that plot with a different set of survivors or having the same group of characters venture through some other storyline. Becoming closer to someone can add or remove future choice options and change how scenes play out. Your decision to build that connection may not go unnoticed by the other characters. Earning the full amount of affection with certain characters can require getting into specific plot lines. That's good. Alrighty. My grip on my lantern tightens as the fog around us thickens. While the forests in this area are relatively safe compared to Senols, I'm not gonna say that because I'll think I'll butcher it. I can't help but feel my hair stand on end the further we get. My free hand fingers the hilt of my sword, something akin to a nervous reflex.
Have you seen it before?
Female, I don't know, breaks the silence, either sensing my unease or oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to read all these words, but bear with me. Assuming, I'm going to just say assuming, his own. I hope it's the latter.
I haven't. I've had no reason to go near this cursed lake until now. What of you?
This guy scratches his chin casually, as though I asked what his favorite food is.
I traveled the long way around it once before. Not so pleasant. Something about it just frays your nerves. Although, even being near it is enough.
So I'm not the only one who feels it. A sense of relief hits me, but not enough to undo the buzzing of anxiety. The lake, whatever, most try their best to avoid it all their lives. The hundreds who died attempting to cross its unearthly black water, dragged to death by the creatures lurking within, aren't a secret.
No wonder you were assigned this mission.
No kidding. Like, I may be bad with words, but geez. There are few who've had first-hand experience with the place. Even if from a distance, he'll probably keep being picked whenever they need someone to cross for however long he is with us. He shrugs, bringing my attention back to the dark path before us.
At least we're taking the bridge this time. It'll only take 2 days instead of double that, and the sooner this place is behind us, the better.
It would be preferable not to risk it. But time is of the essence. We don't really have a choice.
One of our allied villages, Himmer, is being harassed by brigaders. Brigader. Oh, fuck. That word. A band of ruffians. We don't have many guards to send as an asset. Only my buddy and myself. We'll go with that, my buddy. Also, fair warning, I don't know how long this stream is going to be. I checked my internet usage and we're at 70% and we still have about a week and a half. And yeah, So, counting the Gulfit streams and whatnot, we may not stream for longer than like 2.5 hours tonight. But, no kidding, these names. But just fair warning. I may try to do a small little stream tomorrow afternoon since I don't have anything going on, but for future, till next month, because we did a lot of downloading this month. Just fair warning. The least we can do is arrive before we are too late to be any use. Ain't she nice? These kind of squabbles. No, 70% is what we've used. We have 30% of our data left for a week and a half, which normally that would seem kind of like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. But every time we watch TV, it takes a couple gigs. Every time, like every hour of TV that we watch, it takes like 2 or 3 gigs. And then with Wi-Fi or anything, it takes gigs. And I know downloading takes a large chunk of it, which we did a lot. And I did a lot of uploading this month. Yeah. But we have 30%, so I mean, after I finish streaming tonight, I'll see where it sits, and I may do longer ones if I feel safe, but I really don't want to do an overcharge. So, just fair warning, probably we'll play this for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then we'll switch to Mad Libs for the rest. We'll have a good chunk with it being just chatting. Okay. Just thought I would let you know, because I didn't want it to be out of the blue. But yeah. Okay. These kind of squabbles happen often, but we have to be put down lest they turn into a blood grudge or an all-out war. The last we had, neither option was that far off.
I can also see why they chose you to come out here.
I glance at my buddy, an eyebrow raised. A slight smile plays across his lips.
You're always so calm and so serious. Nothing can get to you. You're the best choice they had.
Interesting. Like, a smile now tugged at my own lips. I would like to thank him, but that wouldn't be so calm and serious as he just described. And if that's how he sees me, I'd like to keep it that way. Oh, no. None of that. My lack of reaction only makes his smile grow, and he chuckles a bit before refocusing on the path. I do the same. It wouldn't be right to let my guard down in a place like this. My body appears to feel differently, however.
You know the town on the other side of the lake, though. It's not so similar to ours. If all goes well, perhaps we'll have enough time to enjoy the new area.
For the most part, I ignore him, nodding when Applico. Holy fucking shit. Applico. Oh my gosh, I can't say that word. My brain can't do it. My buddy is a talkative sort, and chatting helps keep his worries down. And his sword hand ready. I have no complaints. This is going to be a rough start, if this is how it goes. After a time, the thick fog surrounding us begins to clear. A slick wooden dock comes into view, and with it the sound of water gently lapping at its sides. Bemel shifts beside me, stretching his lantern arm as far as it will go. He seems tense.
Someone's already here.
A young woman stands by the dock, eyeing us warily. Does she intend to cross tonight? Evidently, she has the same question. As we step up next to her, it's clear she isn't simply passing by. She is waiting. The stranger nods courtly to us. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Margaret.
Kika the Steadfast.
Kika. I can get her name. Kika. I've heard it now.
Bamele. Hello?
Bemele. Oh yeah, we know how to say his name. There's a stuffy silence. Margaret turns to gaze out across the lake, expression unclear. With not much to say, Bemel, whatever. Be male. Hi. And I do the same. From here, the black surface of the lake looks disarmingly calm. Wind rushes across its surface, a sound like whispering. Which person? There's two chicks and one guy. Though perhaps it's actually is whispering. I concentrate trying to place the difference, searching for breaks and rhythm. After a few seconds, I feel foolish. It doesn't matter what the noise is, whether I hear them or not, we're not alone. The Nixie are out there. A feeling I can't quite shake tells me they've already noticed the little group of people on their shores. It feels hostile. My stomach sinks, and I instead address Bamel. That name's gonna...
Where is the guide?
So, he is kind of like an elven figure. It wasn't my internet, and it wasn't anything popping up on OBS. It's just Twitch cut it off. Yeah, I've checked my internet. My internet's running smoothly. OBS says it's running smoothly. Everything should be peachy hunky dory. So if it crashes again, it's something to do with Twitch having something going on. But we're gonna play as long as I can until that hopefully doesn't happen again, but we'll see.
Unless he's on the center island, or on the complete other side, your guess is as good as mine. It's dark as pitch out there.
There we go. Yeah. That was something on Twitch's end. It wasn't on mine, so... yeah. We'll see. We're just gonna play, and if it does it again, then it'll be one of those things where I just start researching what's going on with Twitch. Panic rises inside me. Panic. I tried hard to quill.
We can't cross without him, and we need to get going soon.
You can't cross with him either.
Well, aren't you a happy person? The woman behind us, Margaret, cuts in with something like a snort.
What?
I know the guide will be here tonight. I have already made arrangements with him to cross.
Snooty much? Bimel, or Bemel, and I share a look. The woman seems haughty and willing to put up a fuss.
I have his word he'll take me today. It would be wiser for the two of you to begin the trip around if you're really in such a hurry. Or you can make camp here and wait for him to make the trip back if you prefer.
Snooty much? I don't need to turn my attention to my buddy to know he's riled up. I step in before he can say something rash.
Even if that is so, my companion and I must begin the trip tonight.
Margaret is unimpressed and opens her mouth to argue further. He looks like an elven person, like from Lord of the Rings. He looks like one of the elves, honestly. So I mean, like, he looks like a pretty boy elf. Except he's not an elf, but pretty boy elf.
We'll wait for the guide to arrive before coming to a conclusion about any of this.
She clamps her mouth shut and then lets out a sigh.
You can do as you like.
With the matter tentatively settled, Bimel moves away. His fingers begin to tap loudly against the top of his hilt. He shifts from one foot to another, then groans. Yes, he looks very elven.
What's that bastard even up to?
I almost visibly start, but manage to restrain myself. He probably doesn't know any better. I'm sure of that. It's not worth mentioning.
With a mouth like that, you shouldn't even have the right to ask the guide to take you across.
Well, with your personality, I'm surprised you can.
How ludicrous. He's faced far worse than a bit of foul language.
Do you know anything that's happened with this lake?
I know enough.
Margaret is clearly not convinced, but she shrugs and makes a show of turning her back to him.
The guide's father is Garvin the Exemplar. Garvin never accepted the guide as his son, all the way up until he died, in this lake. Your statement could be seen as tasteless.
Oh.
Whoops. Bimel rubs the back of his neck, his face regretful.
My apologies to the guide. I didn't mean it that way. I never knew about his... well, that.
A smile spreads across my face. One I quickly wipe away. He really did just misspeak. The silence slowly stretches between the three of us, growing more awkward with each passing second. Margaret seems irritated and Bimel abashed. Abashed? Seems like I'd be more bashful. Now I got choices. You're quite informed, Margaret. I'm sure you're forgiven, Bimel. Or say nothing. We'll have open charter on this one. I would say you're quite informed, Margaret. You should get to know this person. Is what I think. Hopefully everything on the stream is running well now. I got a squeaky chair. Yeah.
It's been years since the time of Garvin the Exemplar. It's impressive you knew.
Margaret smiles, lifting her chin into the air. The over-exaggerated action is somehow pleasant rather than belittling. She is so much happier than I anticipated.
Yes, I do like to stay informed. And you knew too. Good. This lake shouldn't be allowed to swallow even history itself.
My town, the one where I was born at least, was also Garvin's hometown. I was very young when he passed. The entire village went into mourning.
Goodness.
People broke down crying in the streets. I'll never forget it. He meant much to everyone who knew him.
Oh, I have no such connections. I merely read about it.
She pauses, seeming to scan the air in front of her for something to say.
I'm sorry for your loss.
It's all right. Thank you.
My town may have taken pride in Graven, the Exemplar, and what he had and what he achieved, but we weren't the ones who lost the most. That would be his family. We each remain locked inside our own thoughts, not another word passing between us. Eventually, a small light appears on the bridge ahead, gently swaying through the foggy air. It gets closer and closer until it becomes apparent it's a figure carrying a lantern. That must be the guide, although I can't shake the ghostly aurora that it gives off. The figure steps onto the shore, but we wait for him to approach us instead of going to meet him. None of us are sure how close to the waters we can get before it's no longer safe. He stops in front of us and simply stares.
Are you the guide of Sinlos?
Sinlos. That's the name of it now. Now we know it. The man nods. He has a sharp face and wary eyes.
Well, that's grand. We would like an escort across the lake.
This guy's gonna make me cringe. Bemel motions to the two of us and Margaret approaches, a strained smile on her face.
Hello, it's good to see you again. I'm ready to cross, as we've agreed upon.
The guide turns to face her as well, face remaining unchanged. It must not be a lie. He would have said something otherwise. She really does have preference to travel with him. That's a problem.
Is there a way we can all begin the trip tonight?
Yes, I will allow all three of you to go. But with that many, at least one will die before we reach the other side.
Oh dear. I furrow my brow. It is disturbing. Oh my gosh, you need a freaking dictionary to play this. It is a disturbing addendum and one offered with little emotion attached. The male glares back, asking what we're supposed to do with such circumstance.
You should go around.
The sentence hangs in the air, the second half unspoken, if you want to live.
We don't have time for that. There are people counting on us for protection. Why does she need to go?
He jerks a finger at Margaret, whose face contorts with anger.
I don't need to explain myself to you. My journey has already been put off once, and I was promised I could go today. I will be going under any circumstances.
She meets Mel's eyes with a glaze of steel. He starts to speak and she cuts in.
An extra day or two shouldn't be that much of a problem for you. Whoever you're meeting can surely wait such a tiny amount longer. Patience is a virtue, after all.
The night is only so long, and if we're still on the bridges when the sun comes up, we'll all die as they sink back below the surface. If you don't decide soon, no one will be going.
Well, goodness. The guide is dispassionate, stoic. I would almost feel something was wrong with him if I didn't share the trait myself. Bamel pulls me to the side, jaw clenched tight.
That woman isn't armed.
His voice low, he darts a glance at Margaret.
We can easily get her to back off if we make this into an actual fight. After all, we have to go tonight, yes? If one of us really is to die, it'll be her. Would staying be a worse fate than her death?
I stare at the dock, refusing to meet Bamel's eyes. Try to keep my voice as level as possible.
We don't know her situation. This isn't a decision we can make for her.
What?
Mel leans in closer, apparently having missed what I said. I remove the sympathy for her in my response when I speak again.
The guide won't accept something like that, I assume.
His face grim.
Then what else do you have in mind?
First of all, you and I cannot split up. Either we both stay, or we both go.
Right. That's not a question.
I cross my arms, a hand on my chin. I have full confidence in my abilities and in Bamel's, but there is no reason not to believe the guide knows exactly what he's talking about. If we go, he might not be able to give the group the attention we each deserve. That would mean we truly would be putting Margaret's life at risk, on top of our own. Oh shit. That one was a timed one. The guide approaches Bamel and me before I have time to sort out my thoughts.
You will stay.
What?
You would have already decided to come if you had the proper mindset for a journey such as this. You two will stay.
But you don't understand.
The guide raises a hand to me, eyes cold. My words die in my throat. If he decides we aren't fit to cross, how could we persuade him otherwise?
This is bullshit! We are more than equipped to make this journey, and we know more of what it means to be in danger than most will know in all their life.
You two will stay.
Bamel's muscles tense, and I put a hand on his arm. He trembles slightly beneath my fingers, his hands curling themselves into fists, but he doesn't say another word. The guide turns around and heads over the bridge. Margaret uncomfortably looks from the guide to us.
Goodbye.
Hopefully that was the right choice. Then she steps onto the bridge after him. Bamel sighs, the anger releasing from him as they disappear into the fog.
Farewell.
Be safe. We reached Hammer safely, though it took much longer than we would have liked. Much of the village had been damaged or even destroyed. It was my fault for taking so long. I did all I could to aid them in defending their town and repairing what could be salvaged. Bamel was disheartened by how little assistance we were able to provide. However, he could not deny how fortunate we were to have both made it at all, especially after we caught wind of the report given by the guide to the elders for that night. Every village close enough to Sinlos gets informed on what occurs in the lake. He does so because communities wish to be made aware if they have lost one of their own. This time, his news was the death of a young woman. The one we spoke to, Margaret, is gone. I have not heard nor seen the guide myself since then. I must assume he is still there on that foggy shore, waiting for desperate souls to seek out his light so they may cross the lake of true darkness. Although I regret that I was not able to do more to protect these people, no one admonishes me for it. I don't know. They seem sure that I did everything possible. I hope that is true, even if I cannot bring myself to believe it. Soon Bimil and I will return home, and we will once again take the long way around. My one peace in all this was that Sinlos will be far behind me in the matter of days. I intend to keep it there.